All right.
Hey, Chris.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris here, and this is the Citizens 2021. Robert Harding and Justin Ritzel, the three of us are back together for the first time, probably in about a month, because Justin wasn't here this week. Of course, none of us were here last week because we were having technical difficulties. And then, of course, the week before that, I think I was on vacation, maybe. And I don't know. So anyways, we're all back together, and it's great to see you guys. I'm sure we've all missed each other quite a bit, and it's reunited, and it just feels so good, as Peaches and Herb used to say. So
I missed Ritz a lot.
of course,
I'll just leave it there.
Of course you would. Josh Allen has a new contract. The quarterback of the Bills, $258 million, $115 million of it guaranteed. How important is this? That's what Robert wants to know. Oh, I'd say it's pretty important. I mean, you think you have your franchise quarterback for the next 15 years. You want to make sure this kid is signed, sealed, and delivered for the next few years here. So, yeah, I think it's very important for the Bills. I mean, the question is Josh Allen a one-year wonder? I mean, obviously last year was an MVP-esque season. Can he do it again? That's the big question in my book. So, well, if you're not going to miss me while I'm gone, I'm going to take shots at your quarterback. So, don't say you didn't see it coming. So, no, they need to have this guy signed long-term. I mean, he appears to be the answer for the Bills. And, yeah, you want this guy in the fold. It's good for shows the other players that the team is serious about Josh Allen long term. Of course, we'll see how the stadium stuff goes, but that's a topic for another video. Go ahead, Robert. Your guy. Talk about him.
I mean, look at the sharp elbows being thrown here. I mean, your cornerback gets torched by Calvin Ridley today, and this is the guy that pouted for more money. Oh, I'm an elite corner. I deserve more money. Can't wait for Josh Allen, the one-year wonder, to throw bombs over Xavier Howard's head this year, and he won't be making any of those slick one-handed grabs. Stephon Diggs will leave him in the dust. Look, this is a big contract extension for Josh Allen. He's getting big money, and he's progressed over his 3 years in the NFL, going into his fourth season here. I think it's a win-win for both teams. Obviously, for the Bills, locking up your franchise quarterback, but for Josh Allen too, $150 million in guaranteed money. You're set for life with this contract. It's a great contract for him, a recognition of his development, a recognition of his season last year, in which he did have an MVP caliber season. Of course, there was a lot of competition for that, and the most deserving quarterback did get the award last year. But this is a great thing for the Bills. It's a great piece of news given how much attention the stadium talk is getting these days. It's a piece of goodwill from the front office, I would say, especially that shoddy ownership group that's out there bullying Western New York, threatening Western New York.
Wow, taking shots at your owners? Wow.
Look, I think it's been pretty clear that I haven't been afraid to take shots at the Pagulas. As Ritz knows, whenever we talk hockey and Shira takes a nap, I have called, I think the Pagulas should sell the Sabres. And now they're out here, trying to, screw the taxpayers out of some money and engaging in some interesting tactics that I think, even when this is all said and done, it'll be hard to forget some of these things that they've done. But nevertheless, focus is on Josh Allen. Great contract. Glad that the Bills locked him up for the next, 6 seasons after his rookie deal's done. It's like I said, a win-win all the way around.
Justin?
Well, I certainly wouldn't have predicted this type of contract for Josh Allen when I saw him lead the Bills to 0 points in a trip to Lambeau Field in September 2018. But I like Josh Allen. He had an incredible season last year. He is really what you want in terms of a modern day quarterback. Obviously, he has the size with the athleticism. You'd be hard pressed to find any quarterback really ever that's kind of blended those two things. To be able to run like he does, to be as athletic as he is, what is he? Is 6'5", Robert? You just don't see players like that come around every day. And obviously, he's got one of the better arms in the league. So I'm 95% sure that the Josh Allen that we saw last year is the Josh Allen we're going to see. He seems to have all the right boxes checked in terms of intangibles and work ethic and willingness to learn, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you don't have the kind of improvement that he showed from 2018 to 2019, and then really from 2019 to 2020. You don't improve like he did unless you're willing to put in the work and willing to be critical of your own game. Clearly, he did that. So it is a win-win based on the timing of it. We know that the NFL salary cap is going to explode with new TV deals here in the next year or two. So yes, the Bills are paying him a lot, but as we see every time one of these big quarterback contracts gets signed, it's just setting the bar for whoever the next guy is that's going to come in and make more. So, Patrick Mahomes is the highest paid quarterback right now. Josh Allen's kind of right on his heels, but you'll see in the next couple of years, this new crop of quarterbacks is going to challenge that amount of money. So really, I think in halfway through this deal, assuming Josh Allen stays healthy, we could be looking at it as, wow, this was a huge bargain for the Bills, because there are a lot worse quarterbacks getting paid more money.
Absolutely. Our next topic, another NFL topic. The NFL is cracking down on taunting. If you're flagged twice for taunting, it is an automatic ejection. And I say, I agree. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I look, trash talking, I get it. There's nothing wrong with a little trash talking, but the taunting, I mean, look, it's Bush League. I'm sorry. I'm old school. I think you let your play do your talking for you. There's nothing wrong. I got no problems with end zone celebrations. Okay, you score a touchdown, you want to do a dance, you want to, jump up and down and whatever, and spike the ball, whatever. Great. I love that natural enthusiasm. But taunting is poor sportsmanship. It sets a bad example for children. I'm sorry, I don't like it. And I think the NFL is absolutely right in cracking down on taunting. And I know you guys are going to call me the old man, get off my lawn type stuff here. Go ahead. I don't care. I know I'm right. And that's as simple as that. Go ahead, Justin.
I know I'm right. Chris, the only reason you have this perception that, back in the old school, guys didn't do this is because there wasn't the technology to listen to the stuff on the sidelines. We didn't have sideline microphones and all that. You better believe that back in the 70s, all your favorite Dolphin players were talking smack to the opponents every time they got a first down or scored a touchdown or whooped someone's butt. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
No way. And I'll tell you why I know. Don Shula coached that team. There's no way a Don Shula coached team would have taunting in it. No, he wouldn't stand for it. If you did it, he'd cut your ass, or if not, he'd bench you. I'm telling you, no way a Don Shula.
Chris, you think Dan Marino wasn't talking shit to defensive backs or linebackers every time he completed a great pass over one of those guys? Of course he was. So to act like the players haven't been doing this for years and years is just silly. It's always been a part of the game. It's always been a part of sports at any level, from guys in high school. I'm on the sideline for high school football games. Those kids are going at it the entire time, talking smack to each other. And it's fun, okay? As long as it doesn't cross the line, which, some professional athletes do, But by and large, I just don't think it's a big deal. People need to stop being so sensitive. John Mara, the president and CEO of the Giants, he's the one that kind of came out yesterday and was like, we're kind of sick of all the talking or whatever. Yeah, you're sick of it because your team's always on the losing end, so you don't have any trash to talk, you bum. All right. The NFL can be a great product, but every once in a while, it just picks something stupid and random to plant its flag in the ground and say, this is wrong, we got to change this. There's nothing wrong with talking a little trash on the football field when guys are getting into car crash worthy hits every single play. All right. It's a game of physical domination. Okay. The more physical team, the team with more will is often the team that wins. And guess what? Sometimes that involves telling your opponent how much they suck. All right. This is stupid. I'm mad we're even talking about it. I'm mad the NFL's doing it. And once again, we're inserting subjective calls into rule books, and you know that that's going to get ugly. There's going to be some dumb taunting penalty because some ref got offended, and we're going to be talking about it all week following that game. So it's just, it's stupid. That's what it is. It's stupid.
Robert?
Look, Chris, I know that you and your pals want to go back to the days of upright running and leather helmets, but the rest of us would like to remain in this generation of football, which is an evolving style of football. And fortunately, the NFL overlords have allowed the players to celebrate touchdowns again, but this is their way to get more control, take more fun out of the game. Big surprise. The NFL, the no fun league, is trying to crack down on fun. Look, I have a few other problems with this. One is, what is taunting? We saw a flag in the preseason game the other day with the Colts. The running back did something that I've seen countless players do over the years. He didn't throw the ball at the guy, just made a gesture. That's never been a flag before, but now it's 15 yards. That's ridiculous. And there's no guarantee that same, if you had a different, officiating crew, that same call would have been made. So to Ritz's point, yeah, the subjectivity here is just, this is going to make it out of control. Like, what is taunting? It's similar to what happened with the roughing the passer rule a few years ago, where it seemed like any little thing you land on the quarterback wrong, and that was roughing the passer. And that takes me to another thing, which is the NFL and their stupid points of emphasis. It's got to go. This is no way to officiate any sport where every year before you start up this sport, you're going to pick out a few different rules that you want called to the letter. And it's just ridiculous, because that means that other things are going to be let go, because you're directing your officials to look specifically for these items. And it's stupid. That's no way to officiate any sport. You have a full rule book for a reason. If you miss some, you miss some. If you call it, to the letter for everything, that's your choice. But these points of emphasis are just stupid, and they keep going down this road every year, and it's just mind blowing to me that they keep going with like 2 or 3 different penalties or things in the rule book that they want to emphasize every year, and then they're surprised when there's uproar about it. There's uproar already about this. Wait until the regular season games come around, and they're throwing flags in every game because some dope side judge saying, oh, that's taunting right there. No, let's cut the crap already and dump this point of emphasis garbage. The last thing I'll say about this is, I've heard, even former players talk about this. You should be allowed to celebrate your thing. If you've ever played basketball at the Y or, any other sport, there's a lot of jawing and stuff. And, I know, Chris, probably doesn't get out on the Y court that much. But, there's a lot of jawing, a lot of friendly banter. A lot of these guys are friends. That's the crazy thing about it. Like when they're getting up and jawing at each other, like it's usually friendly competition. Okay. There's not a lot of hatred behind it. And I think that's something that the officiating misses here, is that, these guys are playing a dangerous game. Yes, they're getting paid pretty well to do it. They should be allowed to celebrate their achievements. I do agree that, if it goes overboard, if they're like spiking balls at faces or whatever, or, like getting in each other's faces after plays, obviously that crosses the line. But if somebody makes a gesture or, whatever, let it go. Trust me, NFL officiating overlords, it'll be okay. The game will go on.
Well, let's see how they officiated first before we say that, they're going too far. I mean, let's see what they call, how often it's called and what they call it for, and we'll see how it goes from
Well,
there.
like Robert said, it's just worked out so well every time the NFL does this that I just have the utmost faith that this is going to play out just as perfectly, which is to say week 3, we're going to be up in arms talking about some dumb call. Let's just hope it doesn't cost your Dolphins a game there, Chris.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, our next topic, we're going to move along to Major League Baseball. Last week, and it feels like it was a year ago, but in a way, but the Field of Dreams game between the Yankees and the White Sox, a great baseball game. That 9th inning was one for the ages. It was the most watched regular season MLB game in 16 years. What lesson does MLB take away from this to make for more compelling regular season games or action in the regular season? I don't know unless you can transport the corn all over the place. I don't think you can do that. The way those corn stalks in the outfield were held up by metal poles. It's not like the corn was actually growing there. They kind of trucked it in from next door or something. So it wasn't completely natural. That being said, it was kind of cool and everything. I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to see Major League Baseball kind of take a page out of the NHL book and maybe do some more special games in special places. I mean, the NHL has done an amazing job with the Winter Classic and the other outdoor games they've had. The one they had at Lake Tahoe last February was exquisite. I have to admit, I was glued to the TV watching that game. I think MLB is going to do some things like that. And I'll throw this out here. 25 years ago, last week, I covered the Hall of Fame game in Cooperstown. I believe it was between the Expos and the Angels, actually. And our own Leo Pinckney, who these guys don't know and have heard of, though, threw out the first pitch during Hall of Fame weekend. He was 50 years Hall of Fame game and Hall of Fame induction weekend. So I think it'd be great if Major League Baseball, if they can put a game in a cornfield, they could play one in Cooperstown. Now, the thing is that ballpark would need some major renovations because it does not have the facilities you need to be able to hold a Major League Baseball game. And that's one of the reasons why I don't have the Hall of Fame game there anymore. Then the players didn't want to lose an off day by going all the way up to Cooperstown. And to be honest with you, I think Major League Baseball needs some type of game in Cooperstown where the players can tour the hall and get a sense of, the guys that came before them and made the game that it is today and why they're getting so much money. End of rant there. But I think MLB could look at some places where they could have the games in special locations. They're already doing it in Williamsport during the Little League World Series. That's great too. But they could definitely do one in Cooperstown, and I'm sure there's some other places they could also look to. Go ahead, Justin, your thoughts about this.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the NHL because I think where the NHL erred with the outdoor games is that, so like they do the one game, the first one I guess the first one of kind of the modern era of outdoor games that we know it. They do it in Buffalo, Sabres versus Penguins. It's snowing. It goes to a shootout. And that was such a great moment in recent hockey history. Sidney Crosby scores the winner in the shootout. It's just awesome. And then the NHL is like, all right, well, we kind of have a, what do you call it? We've kind of established a way to do this and make it successful and entertaining. Now we're going to go to historic stadiums. So we go to Fenway Park, we go to Wrigley Field, they kind of do that kind of thing. And then every single year they kind of expand upon it. And now suddenly there's like 5 outdoor games per year. They're not really at exciting venues, they're just kind of at some random host city's baseball stadium or football stadium. Like they did one at Heinz Field between the Penguins and Capitals. And it's like, okay, like that's whatever, there's Heinz Field is a 20-year-old stadium. Like it's not something kids are, that's not something to write home about, and then finally this past year, the NHL decided, we got to get creative with this thing again. And that's where you referenced the Lake Tahoe. So I hope that MLB learns a lesson and doesn't settle for like, this one thing worked once. Let's just kind of continuously do it over and over again. But let's really explore, hey, this would be an interesting place to have a baseball game, and not necessarily, hey, let's just build a temporary field in front of a fake cornfield and let it be. So we'll see where it goes. I didn't watch the actual game this year. I was in the mountains, avoiding humanity. So I heard about the ending. I didn't really watch any highlights. I saw a few pictures that I thought were pretty cool. So I can't speak to that specific game, but I think it's something that should continue. One thing we don't really normally talk about is they do a Little League Classic game, which I think is happening this weekend in Williamsport. It's a game between the Angels and the Cleveland Indians. So it's not like there aren't other similar games like this, but again, I just impress on MLB to continue to expand their creativity for this game, because it is a cool event that drew some eyes.
And it's nice because you go to a place that you never get a Major League Baseball game. I mean, look, there is no Major League Baseball team in Iowa, although the entire sport is blacked out as 16 on MLB.TV, which is another topic for a later discussion. But it was great to have a real Major League Baseball game in Iowa. I mean, it was great to have Major League Baseball in Buffalo for a month and a half there when the Blue Jays had to be relocated for not being able to play up in Toronto. So I think, a limited thing, maybe once or twice a year, like that, just don't kind of kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. Don't overdo it because you lose the novelty. But I think there are some spots that MLB could build a field and have them maybe in a national park or something with a beautiful backdrop, or go to an area that doesn't have baseball. Maybe go up to Alaska, have a game up in Alaska, have a game up in Maine. Do something that's a little bit different and unique. There's a lot of scenic areas in the United States where you could have a baseball game and make it work. So, Robert, you've been patient. Go ahead.
It's amazing, before you get started, Robert, it's amazing that you could have such a bad take on Taunting, yet you have so many good ideas regarding this MLB stuff. It's amazing the range that you have on this video, from going so bad to so good.
Well, that's your opinion. There may be people out there who might think they agree with me on both those topics. That's what makes America the great country that it is. Go ahead, Robert.
That's one way of putting it. I call it a broken clock, but
broken clock. You're so funny.
What I like. What I liked about the Field of Dreams game, and I did watch it because I think the pageantry around it, the MLB really, this is a rare win for Rob Manfred, who, we've dogged on this show, and rightfully so. I think that he, should be canned, quite frankly. But, this was a great night for Major League Baseball, and it was a great game. The Yankees battled back, and then the White Sox, winning in walk-off fashion. Just incredible game, and really highlighted, the star power. Aaron Judge had a pretty good game. Tim Anderson hit the walk-off homer. The White Sox are just a great team this year. So it was great to highlight them in this way. But yeah, I think, even if you don't do the Field of Dreams idea every year, which I don't think you need to beat that into the ground. But I agree with you, Chris, that going to some of these baseball deserts would be nice. Which now there's more of them, thanks to Major League Baseball axing a bunch of minor league cities. So going to different places and playing games would I think would not only be a sort of outreach to those communities, but also, give a TV audience a different look at, to Ritz's point about, the Winter Classic and that kind of thing. It does, when you're in a new environment, it does draw some additional eyes. People want to see, what's that sport look like, in a football stadium or a baseball park, in terms of hockey anyway. With baseball, obviously it's you're going to have to put up a diamond somewhere, or use, a park that you abandoned. But, it's something that I think could go a long way, helping grow the game, especially in areas where, there isn't a minor league team. you don't have a major league team nearby. And that's what MLB is about. Look, you look at some of these other sports, we've talked about this before, Justin and I wrote an award-winning story about it. This idea of, baseball, kind of falling behind. You see soccer's growth, even basketball's popularity, football, of course. And, baseball's kind of lagging a bit. And I think that would be something, you go to different areas, you play a game, it gets, national TV attention, raises a little more awareness. I think that was what was so great about this Field of Dreams game, is that, not only was it a ratings hit, but, it really tapped into this notion of baseball and its roots and, just playing for the love of the game. So, it's an excellent thing. I think that they should look for ways to expand on it. And, go to these areas. I mean, Chris, you mentioned the Blue Jays playing in Buffalo. I think that's a perfect example of, what Major League Baseball can do to tap into some of these cities, especially places where, you might not have a major league team now, but maybe down the road, if they are seriously think about expansion or moving a team, you could see a team ending up there. It could be a way for them to test some different markets as well. There's a few in particular I'm sure that they would love to check out. But, I think it's something that is great for MLB. I hope they build on
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's something that they need to do more of. The other thing is, how many major league owners are going to want to lose a home game with the revenue? I mean, like the Yankees. I don't know what their revenue is per game, but I'm sure it's quite a lot of money. And they're not going to want to give that up to play in a minor league stadium or in a place where there's only a few thousand fans and they don't get as much. Even though I think, and we all agree, it's for the good of the game. I think sometimes you have to take a short-term loss for a long-term gain. But you just wonder how many of these teams are going to want to give up a home gate for a novelty game. As much as we like it and enjoy it and everything and want to keep seeing it, I'm still curious about that. So, all right, our last topic. It's an NHL one that I can actually talk about with some authority. The NHL, was it today? Was it yesterday? I don't know. It's been the last couple of days. They are going to start having ads on their jersey starting in the 2022-2023 season. And being a traditionalist, as much as Robert likes to make fun of me, comes in handy here because I am dead set against putting jersey ads on NHL jerseys. The NHL, as we all know, has the original 6, and all 6 of those jerseys are incredibly amazing looking. The Detroit Red Wings with the wheel with the wing, the Montreal Canadiens HC, these H in the C, the hockey club, the Rangers with the vertical, lettering, the Bruins with the spoke and the hub B. Who am I leaving out here? Let's see, Montreal, Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously the famous Leaf. To sully these wonderful jerseys with an ad, a big ad patch, a big honking ad patch, is sacrilege, as they would say up in Montreal. Yes, the NBA has been doing this for a few years, and it kind of sucks to see a great Boston Celtics jersey with a GE ad on it, or a Lakers jersey with a, what is it, Rasputin, I don't know what the hell the name of the company is. But look, I get it. It's an easy money grab for these leagues. They lost a lot of money during the pandemic. I get that. It's an easy money grab. The NHL, obviously, they had little stickers or helmets this past season, so they've kind of dipped their toe into the water and kind of liked the temperature. Now they're jumping into a full dive into the lake here of ads on jerseys and uniforms and things like that. It's just, to me, it's just another way that American professional sports or North American professional sports to European soccer. It's more an ad than it is a jersey. I mean, I'm sorry, I look at a European soccer jersey like in the Premier League, and I don't even know what team it is. Okay. I mean, I see the big honking ad for, some airline and from the Middle East or something, or some other company. You have this tiny little thing that says what the name of the club is. I mean, really? I mean, it's just, and we all know the NFL is eventually going to do this too. That Roger Goodell can't turn away from that much money. And MLB, which is already done with it, right. Regular season and to start the season, had ads on jerseys. So they've kind of gotten into it a little bit. But I'm sorry, I'm a traditionalist. I don't like jerseys on the ads. It's a sacred thing to some fans. Me, the Dolphins jersey is as sacred as anything in my life. And to see an ad on it, I'm sorry. It's sacrilege. I don't like it. I don't want to see it in the NHL either. Go ahead, Robert.
I have a feeling I'm going to be in the minority on this one. Because I'm okay with this. I think with, Chris, you go on your rant about soccer, and I know anything that's played outside the United States, you don't really pay attention to, but the fans of those teams know exactly what those uniforms are. And, there's some iconic brands that have been associated with those teams over the years that you do associate with them. But, we're talking about a much different situation here, obviously. Those jerseys, are well established, and, they've had ads on them for as long as I can remember. I mean, my dad was a big Manchester United fan back in the day when they had some ads on their jerseys, and, it was iconic to see that mix. You do remember those. But I'm okay with this. Look, especially for a league that has been poorly run like the NHL, I'm sure Ritz will be having his opinion here, but your boy Bettman is part of the reason that they're in this position. It's a bit of a pickle that they find themselves in. Good thing that they got the new TV deals, but this is another way to make up some cash that the other leagues are making at the moment. I have no problem with it. I think it's something that's become, such a part of sports now. You watch, football games, and I mean, think about how long Super Bowl TV ads have received all of this attention and everything else. I mean, the commercial aspect of these games is hard to ignore. And it was just a matter of time before we saw ads on jerseys. It's when the players are the thing that are shown the most. And you knew that all of these leagues would love to do it. Chris, you got your knickers in a twist over the swoosh appearing on different jerseys, namely the New York Yankees. And I mean, that's just a small thing. That's actually the brand of the shirt, but
take out the contract thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, I think that this is, it was the end game of all of this in every sport. It's just a matter of time before the NFL does it. I'm sure MLB will look for ways to do it. The NHL obviously adds to the mix. The NBA has been doing it. So yeah, I mean, I think that as much as we can talk about, the purity and, traditionalist and whatever 1950s garbage you want to throw out there, the reality is the world in which we live, the advertising's there. It was just a matter of time before it ended up on jerseys.
I'm telling you, on some jerseys, it's going to look like garbage. I mean, I'm sorry, the Canadians jersey, it's going to look like garbage. It really is. There's just certain jerseys that just to besmirch it that way is a sad thing.
If the Dolphins keep handing out cash like they're robbing Brinks trucks to their secondary, they're going to need some advertising on their jerseys to pay for some of these other actual players that'll help your team win. But hey, all the power to them.
All right, I'm not going to get into that one. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, it'd be naive to say that like this was never going to happen, or feign any kind of being shocked that the NHL decided to do this, because the doors already been opened, as you guys outlined in professional sports. This is just kind of the way things are going, like it or not. This is really the first sign. I think of like all the arenas, every year naming rights are sold, and that makes teams millions of dollars. And it's just like, there's really just no end to what professional leagues and around the world, not just North America, but what they will do to make money from advertising. That's just kind of, money rules. That's the way of the world. That's the way of professional sports. So I dread the day when we're awarding a new Stanley Cup champion, and here's the Stanley Cup presented by Geico. It just sounds so stupid. I really do hate it. But it's hard to, if you're the NHL, look at, the NBA is making, 150 million extra a year just by having these ads on uniforms. And, hey, by the way, we just started doing this ads on helmet thing, and that generated 100 million. Like, it's easy money. And you're fighting an uphill battle. I know this was kind of discussed a few years ago that the NHL was considering, or like this was an idea that had been presented. And back then, Gary Bettman said, "No, we're not gonna sully the NHL jersey. It's a sacred thing." He said that, So, Robert, you want to add something to the anti-Bettman list? There's one. He straight up went back on his word. Obviously, you cannot predict a worldwide pandemic that cost the league a little money. Granted, it's still a billion-dollar business, but money lost needs to be made up. So, but I do hate it. There's been some arguments in the hockey circles, like, everyone pissed and moaned about the helmet ads, and you forgot about them within 2 weeks of the season. I think that's true to an extent, but I would counter with, the NBA's been doing this for a few years now, and every time I see a NBA jersey, I see the ad and I'm a little sickened by it. I think they're
Dogs don't like it either.
Sorry about that. Dogs like to bark. So I still, as much as I poke fun at Chris, as we always do, about his traditionalist views, this is one thing I absolutely agree on him with. I romanticize about like Gordie Howe in the Red Wings jersey, or Jean Beliveau in a Habs jersey, Lemieux 66, Gretzky's 99. Those jerseys didn't have ads on them, and it was fantastic. I will say, just to close, I would be a little more accepting of it if they told NHL teams you can sell ad space like somewhere on the back of the uniform, like kind of underneath the Adidas logo, but above the jersey number. I just think part of the problem with providing the ad space on the front, and you see this was the case with the Penguins a few years ago, they had a special anniversary patch on one shoulder, and then they made the Stanley Cup final. So of course you have the Stanley Cup logo on the other shoulder. And then you have like Sidney Crosby, who's wearing a C on his jersey. It just looks so stupid and cluttered. And now I'm just thinking like, we're going to have 4 patches, in some circumstances in front of these jerseys. It's going to look stupid. So I wish at the very least they would have said, hey, do it on the back.
I'll wrap it up with this. You look at other minor league sports, okay, and they have jersey ads all over the place, the sleeves, the backs, the fronts. And they need to do it because they need to make money. I get that. But it looks so tacky. It just looks so thrown together. You want to think that the 4 major professional sports leagues in North America are better than that. They don't need to pimp themselves out for every dollar possible, and cheapen their jerseys and their look and everything. Unlike some of these minor leagues that really don't have a choice. They have to do it. And that I understand. And, I get it and I support it because they have no choice. They need to make money to stay alive. But the NHL, the NBA, MLB, the NFL, I mean, they don't need to be doing this, but hey, it's all about the buck. So, all right, gentlemen.
Hey, remember this one thing, billionaires don't want to be millionaires again. They're not going to, if there's a way for them to make money, they're going to take it. And this is just another way.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being back with us. We appreciate it. And see you next week.